Hi guys, Ben here and welcome to Motivation to Invest. Greed, speculation, froth, overvalued. These are all words which could be used to describe the stock market right now. So the question is the stock market overvalued and is it about to crash? Well, in this video, I plan to answer that question by diving in to 3 metrics which I use to value the stock market. But before we get into that, let me just talk about the current situation we're living in. I see so much exuberance in the market, so much momentum, so much hype. It can be very dangerous. Yes, people are making money. Yes, people are making a lot of money, but there's also that danger element out there. And in the words of the great investor Warren Buffett, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful, not the other way around. So let's talk about Airbnb. This is just a recent example. Airbnb, I love the company, did a full valuation on the company, and I valued that company at a fair value per share at around $35 per share. The company was valued with a market cap just a few months ago during a private investor event at around $18 billion on its market cap. So how much did the company go public for? Well, Airbnb went public for over $100 billion. $100
billion! Oh, gentlemen, silence!
Now, to me, that's just completely bonkers, especially given the current situation that we're living in. So Airbnb went public for over 4 times the company's fair value. Now, if we look at the situation we're living in, most travel is still locked down, yet Airbnb is still priced at a premium. If anything, this should be when travel companies are discounted, but it just doesn't seem that way. So what's the reason? Well, one reason could be due to all this money printing going on in the market. So people have been bailed out. People have done what they wanted. They've invested crazy. They've ran crazy businesses and they've been bailed out by the government. The government's been printing money like crazy, and that is propping up the stock market and causing it to virtually levitate. Now, as investors, we need to keep a clear head during these times. There are still great opportunities out there, but there's also a lot of froth. So we need to filter out the froth and find the gems in the stock market. But before we dive right in, if you're new around here and you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. Then you'll be notified when I'm releasing future investing tips and exclusive stock market picks, which I'm personally investing into. With that being said, let's dive in. So the stock market, in the words of the father of value investing, Benjamin Graham, who actually taught the legendary investor Warren Buffett, the stock market in the short term is a voting machine. It's based on emotion, it's based on sentiment. However, in the long term, it's a weighing machine based on fundamentals, based on a business's cash flow, based on their earnings per share. And the share price is often over and above the fundamentals of the company, but overall, over time, it tends to revert to the mean. So let's dive into these indicators right now to answer the question of whether the stock market is overvalued. First, I'm going to dive into this one right here. So this is called the Shiller PE ratio, the price to earnings ratio. This basically looks at the price to earnings ratio for a variety of different countries. So it's a cyclically adjusted price to earnings ratio. In red, that's the most expensive place right now, 29.8 on the Cape ratio. Canada's looking quite good value, 19.5. As is the UK, as is Russia, but of course there's political issues there. China's not looking too bad also. Even Australia is not looking too bad, so that could be an interesting place to check out. According to the first metric, the stock market is overvalued. But let's go to the second metric. So this is the Fear Greed Index. Now this is quite an interesting thing. It might just look like this is just some wacky setup, but this is actually a real way of valuing the stock market. So they've actually created this Fear Greed Index by looking at a variety of different factors. So they look at 7 different fear and greed indicators. So they look at stock price strength, they look at stock price breadth. So they look at a lot of short-term metrics, a lot of short-term technical indicators. They look at put and call options. They look at market momentum. They look at junk bond demand, market volatility, safe haven demand. So they just try and get a gauge upon the market and take the temperature of the market and see, are people being more greedy right now or are people being more fearful? Because usually the best time to invest is the opposite situation. So if people are greedy, then that's when you should be sort of holding back, maybe trimming positions. If people are fearful, then that's when you should be buying, such as in a market crash. So currently on this gauge, we're 77% extreme greed. Now that is quite worrying. The good news is a few months ago, well, a week ago actually, we were slightly higher. So we were 85 on extreme greed. But so it does seem to have dropped slightly. Maybe the talk of a second lockdown across many countries, maybe that's put a bit of fear into people. So we'd say that indicator does say the market is also overvalued, but it's not too extreme. It's not at 100, but it's still, 77, still pretty high. Now we're going to go on to the Buffett Indicator. Now the Buffett Indicator is a very interesting metric. Warren Buffett calls this a rule of thumb for taking the temperature of the stock market. So it basically looks at the total market cap, usually of the Wilshire Index, and divides that by the GDP of the country. So divided by the gross domestic product of the US. How much of the stock price is hype and how much is real earnings from real companies. And it tries to get a ratio between the two. The stock market, according to Buffett's ratio, is significantly overvalued according to the Buffett Indicator. So that is quite a worrying sign. So based on the historical ratio of total market cap over GDP, currently at 182.2%, it is likely to return a minus 2.3% return a year from this valuation. So basically that's saying if you invested into an index fund, what's the return likely to be due to if you invested at these high levels. So they're expecting some sort of correction to come. So that's quite interesting. We've also got government debt at an all-time high. So these are all things we need to keep in mind when investing into the stock market. We've also got so many companies going public now by what's called a SPAC, or a special purpose acquisition company. Now this is just a way for a private business to go to the public markets in a shortcut method. SPACs at an all-time high. So we are living in an effective SPAC mania.
The millions of the Rock's fans go to WrestleMania.
So what's my final thoughts on this entire situation? Should you buy? Should you sell? What should you do? Well, unfortunately, guys, I cannot give you specific financial advice. But what I can say is you need to assess each stock, each situation, each investment on a case-by-case basis. Just because Airbnb went public at 4 times its valuation and every SPAC just seems to keep on going up, that doesn't mean every SPAC will keep on going up into the future. So you just need to be aware of that and factor that in to your investments. But if you want to know when I'm personally buying and selling stocks and what I'm buying and selling, then feel free to check out, I'll leave a link in the description for our VIP membership. Now I recently launched this membership after many requests from you guys who wanted to know more about my investing, how I invest, why I invest, and exactly what I'm investing into. So when I make my moves, you can make your moves. So I've launched this VIP membership group, but you don't just get access to my buy and sell signals, you also get access to my entire stock portfolio, my 6-figure stock portfolio, the stocks and the story of how I built it up to where it is today. But that's not all. We also have a private Discord group, a VIP members chat, which is full of like-minded people who are all moving towards success in their lives. So if you wish to check it out, I've actually made a full video which discusses the different tier options so you can see if it's right for you or if it isn't. So feel free to check out that link in the description below. And if you guys found value in this video, then feel free to give it a big thumbs up. That really helps out tremendously with the YouTube AI. And if you're new around here and you still haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Seriously, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, if you wish, and hit that subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on, only if you want more investing tips and exclusive stock market picks, which I'm personally investing into. With that being said, I hope you guys have an incredible day, and I'll see you in my next video. Invest safe.